So the concept of humanism is a really large subject, and it's not something that we're going to go into deep in this class because this is an art history class, not a philosophy class. If you want to know more about that, enroll in a philosophy class. For our purposes, we are going to discuss humanism as such. An emphasis on education and on expanding classical knowledge, the exploration of individual potential, and a commitment to civic responsibility. Huh? Miss Cortez, what are you talking about? What does it have to do with art? Let's go back to the word, humanism. Now I've highlighted human. Ism means the philosophy of. So humanism is the philosophy of being human. And in the Greek and the Roman world was the discussion of the individual's potential, that they could be fostered and cultivated, and then their talents could then lead to not only the success of the individual, but the greater society, the greater good. This discussion of humanism evolved and changed during the Middle Ages to be less of an individual potential and more of a group mindset, the greater good as a whole. And what we see in proto-Renaissance is a return to the classical understanding of the individual. Does that make sense? How this relates to art and what we just saw in Giotto was the connection to the raw emotion of the human, the grief of the human, and seeing it in the physical movements and mourning faces of the people. This, many argue, is symptomatic or a characteristic of a larger rise of humanism in the late Gothic period. So, we're going to start to see artworks that are less abstracted concepts of things like piety or grief or mourning, and much more physical, relatable, tangible elements of being a human. And we're going to see that in the artworks, both in painting and in sculpture. In fact, let's go look at some sculptures.